You got some visitors, dog. Let's get up on that.
Hey guys, good evening. Hello. Thought I'd just kind of set the mood for what's going on tonight and what we're talking about. Yeah, so Diddy might be on the run. I don't know. We don't really know right now. It's not clear. Some people are saying he's hiding out down in Miami, but it's not 100% clear what's going on. We just don't know. We just don't know at this point. So it is interesting in that regard. But we're So if you guys weren't aware, well, poor Diddy. Well, the Department of Homeland Security Investigations Division, so they're known as HSI, they raided Diddy. Yep, they raided him. They raided his house in LA. They raided his house down in Miami. And when those guys are involved, you're having a bad day. And what do they normally do? Well, it's kind of like, just like in The Sound of Freedom, they've got the, sounds like there's concerns about some human trafficking. Which, if you guys had this party don't stop for DHS raids, well, it sure as shit did today. But if you guys don't remember, if you guys weren't aware, back at the beginning of March, we covered the lawsuit filed by one of Diddy's producers, a guy named Lil Rod, Rodney Jones. Goes by the name Lil Rod, which, isn't dripping with homoeroticism anyway. And he, in a massive complaint, made multiple allegations, So Rodney Jones sued Diddy, his kids, some of Diddy's gophers, all the different groups out here. And he alleges all kinds of crazy shit. That he was sexually assaulted, that they robbed him of money, that he witnessed Diddy playing with guns, doing all kinds of legal shit, but then having tons of underage girls and women trafficked all over the place. And it wasn't just Diddy. He alludes to a very prominent Canadian R&B rapper. And then talks about other people like Chris Brown, among others. And then maybe Usher being involved as well. Usher. Allegedly, those parties were involved. They're vaguely referenced by name, but they're named in such a way you could immediately go and check and see who did what. Lil Rod is an unfortunate name. Yes. And KJ says he snitched because he was owed about $60K, right? Actually, it was even less. It was like 20 G's. If he had gotten paid like 20K, he would have shut up. But yes, this lawsuit comes with a trigger warning. We covered this a while back. This was absolutely hilarious to me. This document contains graphic information of a sexual nature, including sexual assault. Additionally, there are graphic images of the aftermath of a shooting. Redacted images of sexual intercourse, redacted images of minors, sex workers, and prostitutes, details of sex trafficking, and the illegal distribution of guns and drugs. Oh no, not the guns and drugs, chat. So, if you read along with us when we covered it a while back, holy Jesus, if even 10% of that's true, wow. Wow. That's all you can say. Who gave Usher the herp? I don't know. Yeah, Justin is his son. Yes. Lil Rod is an ironic name. He has a giant rod. Well, it sounds like he was pitching and catching, so I don't know. Those guys were having relationships with women and sex with men. The way I understand it. So Toilet Texter says, why is the DHS involved? Is this some island stuff tied to the prison cell dangler? I mean, it probably is going to be at some point because, I mean, let's be real. You know, that whole idea that there isn't like a cabal of like, there's an international cabal of like pedophile celebrities and cannibals and, you know, the interdimensional like, maybe not the interdimensional psychic vampires and the little potbelly goblins, but the rest of it, yeah, it seems to be true so far. It's playing out that way. And to make matters even more interesting, we don't know where Diddy is right now. Supposedly, people saw him in Miami. But if you look at the ATIS tracker, the ATIS B tracker transponder for his plane, it shows it in Antigua right now. So if you check out his plane, it shows it. Why is it not zooming in? So earlier today, Diddy's plane, it flew a couple different places. It flew up to Sacramento and flew back. Flew Sacramento and down. Picked everybody up. Flew all the way across. Which this would have been interesting because this would have been a really bad flight time right there. There were a lot of storms and stuff over Louisiana, Mississippi earlier today. So this would have been kind of rough flying. But we have the flight tracker. Diddy was chugging along at, 45,000 feet in his G550. And he made it all the way to Antigua. Now, Antigua does have an extradition treaty with the United States. Now, they would anyway because they are, they're part of they were part of the Commonwealth. So that's not really an issue. I know some of you are thinking like, oh my God, why, you're like, oh no. You're looking at this, you're going, this is a map of Antigua and here's the airport and the airplane's right here. And it hasn't moved. No, Diddy did not auger into the ground somewhere outside of the airport. He made it to the airport. The transponders are not 100% accurate. They're pretty good about determining location. So he's parked out on the tarmac somewhere, just hanging out. His plane is at least. So there are some pictures of it, I do believe. And I was going to try to pull one up here. Just so we could see if it's really him. And I think, hold on, Charlie sent it to me. Need to pull this bad boy up. Yeah, so this is from Dom Lucre or whatever the fuck that guy's name is. Fucking cringe lord. Get shit wrong at the time. I don't know if this is his plane because the tail number, that's a G550. I do know that. Diddy's, we'll open this image in a new tab here. So the tail number for Diddy's plane is November 1969 Charlie. And that does not necessarily look like N1969C. So I don't know if that's actually him, and I don't know where the hell that's at. So who really knows where that plane is? If that's really the plane at Antigua, I mean, it might be. I just don't know. Diddy's raiding men as we speak. Yeah, he's raiding all kinds of men out there. Spitting in asses everywhere he go. That's where Usher got the 8th. Yeah, Usher got herpes, yeah. The real question is, how did he piss off Hillary? Yeah, he's still alive, though. He's still alive. Aaron Hack says his plane has been around the last couple of weeks. Could have been dropped off anywhere. Yeah, but he's one of the he's not Mr. Worldwide. That's Pitbull, but he is world renowned. There's no way he's gonna hide, unless he goes to like basically China and pays somebody off so he can go live in the mountains somewhere, like in a little like mountaintop estate and pull like his own version of Bariloche, like Hitler did down in Argentina. Just way up in the middle of nowhere. That's the only way he's going to get away with it. Diddy's gonna be partying with Putin soon. That would be funny as hell. I'm going full flight tracking autist. Like I've had. You have no like. There's more to that. Like I know. Yeah, I love planes. Planes are cool. I've been in air traffic control centers before. Those are fun as shit. So. Yeah, but that's how we know where he's at. Yeah, Dom, full of shit, Luke Ray, or whatever the fuck his name is. So, we are playing Carmen Sandiego. Yes, we are, chat. Yes, the U.S. government's about to play Carmen Sandiego with Diddy, which would be a lot of fun. You thought going to pull up the Bronco meme I've seen? Yeah. But who would be his AC? Because that's the thing. If you're going to make fun of the Bronco, you need the AC Cowlings, and there is no real like Diddy I mean, there's a lot of people who want to be Diddy, but not the same way AC Cowlings was like the wannabe OJ. Joe puking on a stream reading the Diddy lawsuit. Is he really? He's read it. I mean, tonight? See, I read that like a month ago. I read it that night. I remember the night we read it. It's fucking hilarious. It's goddamn hilarious. I don't know how you can't read that and laugh at half of it. Diddy ain't gonna blend well in China. Just saying, yeah, but that's not the point. You have the money to disappear. So. Justin Bieber, yeah, he's supposedly in all that too. He's mentioned in the lawsuit, I'm pretty sure, once or twice as well. They're all... Yeah, they're all involved. Joe isn't reading the footnotes. It's disappointing. The footnotes are the best parts. Yeah, guys, this lawsuit was a great read, a great read. He should live in North Korea. I don't know if Kim Jong-un likes Diddy. He likes Dennis Rodman, so that's the thing. You got to make sure you're the right black guy, because you could That's the big problem. If you show up there and you're not the right guy, it's gonna be a bad day. Gonna be a bad day. Now, the warrants haven't been released, but it's very obvious that they're probably looking for stuff associated with his film company and things he's done. Nothing has. I'm assuming Diddy and his attorneys are also not releasing shit because that would be really, really bad if people found out. Like, oh wait, everybody thinks we're not diddling kids, and did all kinds of sketchy shit. Like, so yeah, it's not looking good. There was an entire massive raid at his mansion in L.A. We don't know what's happening, so it will be interesting. Diddy would be a king in the Congo. Yes. Oh. Are you sure Diddy didn't pull a DB Cooper? Well, yeah, I'm pretty sure he didn't. So, I'm pretty sure he didn't. Oh. So, that's the news on Diddy. Oh my gosh, Joe really is reading it. Joe's getting there. I feel bad for the lad. He's going to have a rough time reading that. So, guys, we don't have much to talk about tonight. Oh, thank you. Thank you very much. I appreciate the haircut. Porcelain says, you can't jump out of a Gulfstream 550. Yeah, that's the big issue. If you try jumping out of a Gulfstream G550, you're fucking getting eaten alive in the engines or hitting the wings. There's no jumping out of them. If you want to try to jump out of a plane like that, you're going to need something big. And really, the only reason why DB Cooper had a chance was he jettisoned the back of the 727 off and went down the stairs in the back, which if you guys didn't know that, 727, you could remove the back end and jump out the back because there was a set of stairs that came down. So, you can see Diddy pulling a John McAfee and taking Small Island. Yeah, I mean that could happen, but the only thing I think Diddy's gonna, being somebody like Diddy and knowing like the stuff that's happened with R. Kelly and everything that's happened in the past. I mean, shit. If I'm Drake, the guys listed in that complaint, Drake, Usher, all those guys, I'd be having fucking stacks on deck, ready to like. Kind of like the music that was playing at the beginning when Diddy's trying to get on the plane for all over the world or all around the world. Yeah, it's like fucking heat, dude. 30 seconds flat, you're out the door. Done. Like a couple mil in cash somewhere in gold, and you're fucking gone. Booking it to Sweden or going to Switzerland, getting to Russia, getting to China, getting to Iran, getting somewhere, man. Like that's the only it's not legal advice, yes. It's not legal advice, but fuck, I'd be out of there, man. I'd be out of there. That's those guys have the money to if they they've got to know their names, and now if Diddy's getting raided, all those guys better fucking bounce. If I were them, I'd bounce. I'd make like a fucking hole in the water and disappear. So, yeah, it's not going to look good for them. It's not going to look good. But, time goes on. And Diddy, whether or not he was seen at the airport in Miami doesn't matter too much. Let's see. What are you guys... Tim Pool's hilarious and cool. Well, I mean, we're all entitled to our own opinions. Are you sure the plane didn't pull a DC-10? I'm pretty sure it didn't. I'm pretty sure it did not. So, there are rumors that Diddy took a boat from Antigua to Cuba. He would just fly to Cuba. I'm sure he'd get clearance to land in Cuba. And if he didn't, just fucking land anyway. So, there's no point. And going to Haiti wouldn't work because the U.S. has no problem going into Haiti and restoring order every time. I mean, how many times have the U.S. Marines been to... How many times has the United States Marine Corps been to Haiti in the past 200 years? I've run out of fingers. I don't have enough fingers to count how many times. They show up all the time there. They're the United States Marine Corps are unofficial citizens of Haiti because they're there fucking fixing things all the time. I mean, it happens all the fucking time there. So, the Tim Pool jealousy is polluting this chat. He's a millionaire stud. The bad boy. A bad boy of what? Nick says, what about the Deutschmark, Sean? Well, the Deutschmarks are not valid currency anymore, so it doesn't work. Pre-99, yeah, you could probably get away with Deutschmarks, or whatever your Germany switched over. So yeah, that would make sense, but that's like saying I want to have a bunch of Italian lira on hand. It's like, why? They don't work. They don't work. Yeah, the U.S. Army and the 82nd Airborne have been to Haiti a million fucking times as well. Especially since World War II when they became the Airborne Division. And some and some Marine Corps leaders, some Marine Corps people have become little emperors of Haiti. Yes. It's Haiti is fucking insane. So, Haiti is an absolute dumpster fire. He wouldn't go there. And trying to go to Cuba from Antigua, why? You're better off landing in Miami and just hopping on a cigarette boat and cutting across the water. I mean, really, think about it. It doesn't make any sense to go all the way down there from, if you want to get to Cuba, where the famous land developer Anthony Montano was from. He was a political prisoner from Cuba. There are far better ways. And also, because I just don't know if you guys know where the hell it's at. I mean, Miami to Miami to Cuba is like 90 miles. But, you know, if you want to get from, like, Antigua, guys, Antigua is like, did I see the boats they used to raid his house in Miami? No, because his house in Miami is on the water. So, guys, here's Antigua. And just so you know, here's where Puerto Rico is. And if you guys don't know where the hell all this is, we'll zoom out for you. Okay? So, that is the situation. If you want to go from Antigua to Cuba, I mean, that's Cuba right there. So you got to get all the way to, yeah. I mean, you got to get all the way around this. So you have to cross against Mordor, but you've also got the U.S. government right here in Puerto Rico. You know, guess what they're going to fucking do? They're going to come after your ass. Whereas if you want to come from, you know, Miami to Cuba, look how quick that is. You could do that. And hell, you can even just take your airplane and just go, and go, hello, Cubanos, hello, putas. So I did not see the video of, is there video of him using the boats? Because I didn't see the Miami raid. So let me see here. I'll see if I can bring it up. Yeah, guys, I can't find anything from yeah, I don't see anything about the boats. And you guys are telling me about these boats. I don't know anything about some boats. So. Oh. So. Yeah, can't find it. Oh, well. We'll do another day. I eat your face, yes. You sent him to North Sentinel Island. Yeah, that'll be great for them all. His plane was in Antigua for a run to the Maldives, and they grounded it. Yeah, and that's the thing. The thing is, though, I don't know why they stopped. Because that thing should have been fully fueled. Because a Gulfstream can go about 7,700 miles. You know, like a G5 series like that, yeah, they got fucking legs. They got enough distance on them. I don't know why Diddy and them stopped. Like, you know, normally, like, especially for Diddy, like, he's not going to fly around. No, like, he's not a cheap ass. Like, oh, I can't afford to gas up the Gulfstream today. So, I mean, and even if we're just using, you know, basic distances here, I don't know. Now, part of this problem is we're doing a flat projection of the Earth. And the other big thing is when you fly, like, here's a big example. Like, if you're flying to Japan, you don't fly straight to Japan. You fly up, and using the curvature of the Earth, you fly to Japan. And then because if you flew down, you're flying into a bigger, fatter part of the Earth. But you fly the curvature of the Earth. You don't ever actually fly in a straight line. So if Diddy's flying, you know, his fucking plane, he's got 7,700 miles. I mean, let's just do a rough guess on that. Like, you know, let's measure distance from there to, let's say he goes to, like, Tehran. Because Tehran's over here. Yeah, that's what I thought. Tehran's right there. Let's say he flies to Tehran. That's 7,500 miles. Oh, and it is taking into the curvature of the Earth. Okay. I mean, you'd fly all the way to the fucking North Pole to get there, and you'd just go loop and drop in. That's why the flights come in that way. I mean, damn, that's, you know, if he wanted to go to, and that's the thing, the shorter you have to go, the shallower your arc is going to be. But now your distance, notice the distance is staying over 7,000 miles. The problem is most of these countries in Africa, you know, he's not, like, you make it here, they're going to extradite you. You go to Brazil. So he could have done that already. He had enough gas to get to Brazil. He could have been fine. But Chile, Argentina, all those places will extradite. Maybe Zimbabwe might not, but that's 10,000 miles. Let's say he was trying to get to like Dubai. Too far. You know, but like there's not many other places he could go. Like he get to Iran he could do Iran maybe. I think if he didn't have a headwind, he could probably do Iran. But like getting to Russia, he can get to Moscow. Because that'll put him near Moscow. You know, flying to Moscow, but you know, that's not something you just do. And if he wants to go to like Beijing, you know, he could probably do Beijing. Wow, I messed up on that. Beijing is farther north. My bad. My bad, chat. My geography, I'm pretty good. I was kind of eyeballing it. You know, he could fly down into Shanghai. I mean, he could fly to North Korea. That's only 5,800 miles. But whatever you do, don't go to Japan. They will extradite you. So, he could fly to Burma, but that's in the middle of a fucking civil war. So, not really got a lot of good places for him to go. Not a lot of good places for him to go. Yeah. Is he under arrest? We don't know. We don't know where he is. Joe's going over the warrants. How did Joe get the fucking warrants? Joe got the warrants? That son of a bitch. How did he get the warrants? Where'd he get the warrants at? Oh, he's going, this guy's dumping the goods on. Yeah, he's playing through the lawsuit, but he's also got, yeah, there's no, the Diddy warrants are not available yet, guys. They haven't been released. They haven't been made public. So we don't have anything to show yet. So, I thought Diddy owned an island. I don't think he does. He might have been switching jets. Yeah, I don't know about that. Mystery Sniper says the government could have intercepted it without any transponders. Of course they could have. They could have been shadowing it. They would have assets available to take care of what they need to take care of. But Diddy still has to fly around with the transponder on, or he's got problems. So. If the Earth was round, you'd have to constantly angle the plane down so you don't fly into orbit. Yes, thank you. That's impressive. Thank you, Stabby. Holy Jesus Christ. The G550 is 6,700 nautical miles, yes. So it's a little bit 7,000 miles and change. So it's about 7,700 miles. I'm trying to see, double check there's no updates. He's still not arrested. My money's on Dubai. He doesn't have enough gas to get to Dubai. He can't fly to Dubai from Antigua. And I don't think he doesn't have enough gas to fly from LA to Dubai. Now, if you're in England, like let's say Diddy was in Britain, everything changes for him. Because like if you've got a decent plane, you can get to like Singapore. Diddy could fly, like if he was in London, he could be like going to Singapore. He could fly to Dubai. You know, he could fly everywhere he wanted to. You guys didn't know Dubai's like right, yeah. So he could, I mean, like that's a short hop jump. You wouldn't think it's that way, but that's the way it is. So that's how that goes. So he could go anywhere the fuck he wanted to. I mean, in London, fly to Moscow, like, boop, done. He could probably actually could he fly to North Korea? Holy shit, he could fly to North Korea, but he would need Russian overflight permission, and I don't know if they would grant that. That would be tough. Even if he wanted to fly to Beijing, he would need Russian overflight permission. But he could fly from London to Beijing. So the problem is, guys, like I said, once you get going, this is like he probably couldn't even fly. Like, let's say he tried to do New York City to Beijing. He might. Oh, he could do. Oh, he could do it. He's flying all the way to the fucking North Pole though, and he still needs Russian overflight permission. But yeah, look, he could do it. 6,800 miles. He's got the fuel for it. So yeah, it's just a matter of having the ability to get it done. So why is a slave landing a plane here? Yes. Why is the slave landing such a plane here? Why doesn't Brazil extradite? Because they don't. Brazil's got its own fucking problems. Generally, it's like they don't extradite citizens, but they'll probably throw your ass on a plane. He's trying to get to Cape Verde, Africa. I mean, I think Cape Verde has it. Yeah, Cape Verde's extradition treaty with the United States. So, yeah, I mean, he might be there, but, like, there's no formal extradition agreement. But, and also, if you guys don't know where Cape Verde is, it is right off the coast of Africa. And here's the thing once again. You know, here's Cape Verde. Let's say he went to the main island, okay? So let's say he did that, measuring distance. Like, where's the airport in this motherfucker? Whatever, let's just say it's in the middle of the island, okay? From there to LA. From there to, like, LAX or even Santa Monica Airport. Let's just say he takes off, like, Santa Monica Airport. Distance to there. 5,800 miles. There is no need for him to refuel. There's no need for Diddy to refuel that distance. So it doesn't matter, like, it doesn't matter where Diddy's going. There are ways for him to get around this. And he's not, 50, like, he's well within the flight range for that. And let's say he flies all the way down to Antigua, like, holy shit. That's only 2,600 miles. They wouldn't need that, like, they wouldn't even need to fully fuel that thing. Just top it off just a little bit. So, I get what you guys are saying, but I don't think that's likely. So, yes, there would probably be a safer bet to live like a king, but you also have to be aware nothing would stop the United States from sending in, like, the FBI's hostage rescue team or some Marshall's task force dudes to go hunt him down and drag him out of, Cape Verde and send his ass back to fucking, take his ass back. Because there are no rules on that. There are no rules. If you get brought back and things happen, like, things happen. So, yeah, he's not going to be able to bitch about an unlawful arrest, overseas like that. So, I mean, they'd rendition him if they want to. Did the plane's journey begin in LA? It looks like it began in Sacramento earlier in the day. But even then, you can, like, it doesn't take long to fuel one of those planes. Not long at all, especially like at a good airport like in LA, the multiple airports in that area. That thing's fueled and ready to go. And I guarantee you, Diddy has his own pilot. He has his own stewardesses. It's not like he's one of these guys who rents or he's got like a fractional interest in a plane where he's only got the plane for like 250 hours a year and they have to schedule it out like a timeshare. No, Diddy's plane is Diddy's fucking plane. It's owned, like, it's ready to fucking rock and roll at a moment's notice. There's no way that thing's not sitting there ready to get fueled up, like, on command. So I find it hard to believe it wasn't ready to go. If TMZ doesn't know, no one knows, yeah. Nico said he dug for the warrants, yeah. Charlie says, check out the video I just sent you on X. Okay, what did you send me? Better not be like two dudes humping or some shit. Oh shit, yeah, that's intense. YouTube might get mad if I show that. Speaking of Jews, yes. So, yeah, I don't know what's going to happen there. He just wants some fish sticks. Yeah, he just wants some fish sticks. He doesn't anymore, yeah. He's still digging for the warrants then, yeah. Well. Listening to some of the statements are true. Some of those people are in trouble. Yeah, I will say that thing and talking about the trigger warnings in it. Ron, we did a video on it a while back. Like, if any of that's true, holy shit, somebody's going to prison. So that's how you need to look at it. Why won't they wait until he's home before raiding his houses? Well, because he's got houses in multiple places. So you can't, like, he's got multiple houses, so they got to hit him at the same time. And it's probably hard to keep him in the same spot. Because if you try to stop him, he knows the jig's up. Yeah, Charlie, those are Israeli soldiers getting shot at. Yeah, I'm not going to be able to show that because YouTube will fucking shit its pants because it's guns. If he had a yacht in Antigua, he could take that with the transponder off and go anywhere. Yeah, but the yacht's only going to go, like, what, 20 miles an hour? They'll fucking find him and track him, so he's not going to get anywhere too far. Amateur conquest, I'd avoid the Ukrainian airspace. I understand, I'm just saying, overall. Yes, his pilot might have decided to land once the arrest warrant was announced. Otherwise, the pilot would be arrested for aiding a fugitive. Sure, he could be like, oh, well, the satellite broke. I don't know. So, yes, he's going to Gaza. Carrie says there's a decision on Julian Assange tomorrow. Oh, that'll be worth covering if they do release one. Diddy has an estate in the Maldives. Ooh. Well, the Maldives has an extradition treaty, so I don't think he wants to go there. Yeah, and Derp's right. Even with the extradition, there's very few places they won't get to you if they want you enough. Yep. You know. Oh. So was it an arrest warrant or search warrant? I mean, it was a search warrant, and I don't think he's under arrest yet, but I'm sure they'd want to take him in and talk to him. Das Boot says, do you know every country with an extradition treaty? I mean, it's easier to list the countries that don't have one with the United States. Like China, Iran, North Korea, Russia, and like Cape Verde. Like, those are the handfuls of them, in Cuba. You know, there's only so much we have. Other places have agreements and understandings, but when did the Maldives get an extradition treaty? I don't know. Well, I thought they did. Do us and Venezuela have an extradition treaty? I mean, there's one on paper, but the governments aren't friendly. So, but yes, you should. A lot of places have extradition treaties with the United States, and that's because that's partially like, you want our money, it comes at cost. So that's the problem. You want U.S. aid, you want U.S. this, you want U.S. that. Well, you're doing what the fuck we say. And that includes sending people back. You know, that's what they say. They tell them all, you have to go back. You have to go home. So, yeah, that is where Diddy's situation is. Like I said, people would think it'd be a lot more interesting than that. but it's not. It's for right now. It's kind of laid back. We don't know exactly what's going to happen here. So what do we have now? Well, there were some big updates for former President Trump today, and they were actually kind of huge updates. What are they? Well, the first big one is his case in his civil case. And the best part about that is for President Trump, he does not have to post the $454 million bond, which would probably be about $500 million when you factor in the premium that the insurance companies would charge, the sureties would charge him. So his attorneys, they made a good argument. There's nobody in the world that will give us that kind of money. And I think the court realized the impossibility of what Judge Engoron did. No, fuck you, Orange Man, you must do as I say. And he can't comply. There's literally no way for him to comply with your court order. And even the Court of Appeals is what the fuck? So they did issue an order. They did issue an order about his case. And it did come out today. So sadly, Letitia James does not get to go ahead and try to get her little grubby, greasy dick beaters all over Trump's property and assets. It was done today, or it was done yesterday at 11:06 a.m. I do think it's interesting, their electronic stuff has all this red ink all over it. So, so these are the this is the intermediate court for the state of New York, because it's the New York Court of Appeals is their top court. So this is all just an appellate courts in the middle. So it's the state of New York, people of the state of New York against Donald Trump, Trump Jr., Eric Trump, and all the people listed. Now notice, we talked about this before. There is no the organization that is in charge of Trump Tower is 40 Wall Street Holdings LLC, and all Letitia James put down was 40 Wall Street LLC, which means she can't go after Trump Tower, which is very, very funny that she fucked that up. So what they did was they took an order from the Supreme Court of New York County, entered on February 16th, and a judgment entered February 23rd. Trump then appealed pursuant to civil law to stay the enforcement of this order and allow the determination of the appeals to happen. Now, they read about it, they deliberated it, and they ordered that it is ordered the motion is granted to the extent staying the enforcement of those portions of the judgment. One, ordering disgorgement to the Attorney General of $464 million. Condition on the dependents posting within 10 days of this date of this order and undertaking the amount of $175 million. So he'll probably be able to make that. That won't be an issue. And even if he couldn't, he could probably get a surety company to get involved, because really, rich people don't spend their money. They make you spend their money on them. Now, this does permanently bar Weisselberg McComey from serving in the financial control of any New York corporation or similar business entity. That Trump is barred from serving as an officer or director of any New York corporation for 3 years. Trump is barred from applying for loans from New York financial institutions for 3 years. And Trump is barred, Trump Jr. and his son are barred from serving as an officer in any New York corporation or in New York for 2 years. Now, why do they just say New York corporations? Well, because you might run a corporation that's organized in another state, or maybe in another country, but you're not allowed to run any organizations here in the state of New York. So, this aforesaid stay is conditioned on the perfecting of appeals for the September 2024 term of this court. The motion is otherwise denied, including to the extent it seeks a stay of enforcement of portions of the judgment and extending and enhancing the role of the monitor and directing the installation of an independent director of compliance. So the big thing is Trump has now an overseer appointed by the court, and she's approving and observing every single thing that happens with these organizations that Trump is in charge of. Well, she's, for somebody like him, it's going to be cramping his fucking style really fucking bad. So, the dudes were seething on CNN today, yeah. And they're going to make an Eighth Amendment argument. Sure. Well, remember, the Eighth Amendment is incorporated by the 14th Amendment to the states, so it doesn't matter. Federally either. It could be, you can make that argument anywhere. Now, the interesting thing was, and this is where, listening to this, guys, people are going to think we're, that the powers that be are just fucking with us. Because when you listen to this, guys, you're going to be like, what? They're literally just fucking with us now. Like, here you go.
But the property that you alluded to, Mar-a-Lago, potentially that could be something that could be sold quickly. I think the valuation is something in the hundreds of millions, and I think there could be a buyer for something like that.
Wait, but Judge Engeron said it's only worth $18 million. What the fuck?
And that would be literally, if you're talking about doing that between now and Monday, that's picking up the phone, calling someone, and then literally writing a check.
Yeah, I mean, there could be plenty of international people who want to buy that property. I mean, there's properties that are priced at 150 and 200 million that are nearby that. And Palm Beach is like the NVIDIA, of real estate. It's just shot up like a rocket. And people do want to live there. They've moved there. So
Yes, estimated property value, chat. Yes, estimated property value. They're literally just fucking with us. People like fucking Engeron, that fucking worm. Look at that. Literally just fucking with us. Because they all agree it's worth $240 million. So, yeah, they are literally just fucking with us at this point. So, it's so funny that they talk about this now. And it'd be funny because it would sell for that much. Was Judge Engeron going to say, no, you can't sell it for that much? I said it's only worth $18 million. Fucking ball-licking Arthur Engeron. Imagine that guy's your fucking family. Like, people know about him. But just like they're acknowledging it. It's like they know that we know that they know that they know it's all bullshit and they don't care anyway.
I think that would be the best case scenario as to proper if he's trying to sell quickly. I would encourage that.
So, all right, now that's 240 million estimated. I mean, who knows? He's a desperate seller. In this case, someone picks up the phone and makes that call this week. So I don't know what it'd be. That's still half of what it would be.
I think you need at least 30 days.
That's still.
And look at the rest of these things. He lied about all of it. It's like, did he really? Did he really lie about all this, chat? 160 million, 175 million, 240 million, 270 million, 305 million at Doral. That doesn't include Westminster. That doesn't include Westminster. That doesn't include the post office. That doesn't include the Trump Tower out in Chicago. I mean, this doesn't include half the shit the man owns. Like, fucking look at this shit. They're just literally fucking with us. It makes you want to, they're just literally fucking with us. Sell quickly? I doubt it. Well, that's the other thing, too. So. There's a half-acre property next door selling for $45 million. Yeah. And Trump's is like 18 acres. It's fucking huge. How is Trump only worth $165 million? I don't know, but still, that's quite a bit. Yes, the Zelle listings in that area are absolutely mind-blowing. So, that's why I think Judge Engeron's going to be made to look like a fool later on. But, oh well, that's what his family's going to be like. Oh, it's Uncle Arthur. Oy vey. Now, while that all happened, there were other things that happened in Trump's cases, including his case with Alvin Bragg, and the one for where the telling Stormy Daniels to keep her whore mouth closed, hush money, is somehow a crime, which I still don't see how it is, but whatever. Alvin Bragg's trying it, and his people are trying it. That case has been postponed. Excuse me. That case has been postponed until April 15th. So that will start the 15th. Has not started yet. In other news, though, there's a lot of issues with what's going on in Trump's case because Michael Cohen, if you guys don't remember, we covered this a while back. Michael Cohen has his own case in federal court where he got caught lying and everything he did. Well, he got caught using fucking Google to, write a motion for him. And it made all kinds of cases up. It made up cases. And to make matters even worse, Cohen walks up to his attorney and says, here, use this. Now, why did Cohen do that? Because Cohen's a cheapskate and trying to save money. Because obviously his attorney has to do all the writing. Well, that costs money. So Cohen says, here, file this motion. I did it. Don't worry. It's all good. And it comes to hold on here. Is this the right one? It completely fucking ruined him. Because the court's like, well, who's lying here? Are you guys still doing anything right? Does any of this make sense? And obviously, any judge in their right mind would say, no, you're not allowed to do this, and you shouldn't ever do this if you are an attorney. Like, your client comes up and he says, hey, man, I got something you need to file, or here, take a look at this motion I did. I ain't touching that thing, because I don't trust you. I'm not willing to risk my law license for you, or my professional reputation. Like, I don't want people to think, oh, my God, Sean's a retard. Like, that would be insane. And I've had clients do that, especially ones in jail. They get really mad. What do you mean? You don't think I know what I'm doing? It's like, yeah, because otherwise you wouldn't be here. I mean, that's the big thing. I mean, if we're going to be real about it, I'm just saying. That's how I look at it. So, let me see. And ultimately, the judge did make a ruling on all of this because he was trying to get terminated for probation early, and the judge is like, this is fucked up. And, well, so they said, oh, this is okay. It's fine. Don't worry about it. Which is great because we would never get that kind of benefit. We would never get that kind of benefit of the doubt. We would get screwed. We would be utterly, 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 utterly screwed. If it was you or me, we'd be done. I can tell you that much right now. So, that's what I can tell you. So, with that being said, we know Michael Cohen is a rat. He's a scumbag. He's just a cheese-eating rat. That's all he does. Cheese-eating rat. Snitching out every chance he gets. That little snitching son of a bitch. But he did get caught lying multiple times. And that's been an issue of his credibility, when people don't like to admit that, but it does shed light that his credibility is awful. Um, where the heck is that? Damn it, I just lost something. Oh, well, can't find it. Don't worry about it. Not worried. So, with that being said, Trump's attorneys did bring up to the court there's a big problem with having Michael Cohen testify. That he's going to be the key witness for, Defense Diaries. How you doing, guys? Late Night Live. Yup, very much. So there's going to be an interesting argument made because Michael Cohen is basically one of the, I wouldn't say like the key guys. It's not like if Michael Cohen were to disappear tomorrow, the case would fall apart. But he is meant to be one of the people that's critical because he helped orchestrate the hush money payments to Stormy Daniels. He's part of the, how he did it was so fucking weird. The way he did it was so weird. But he's the guy that made the money go around. And because of just all the nonsense and things he's been engaging in, Trump's attorneys put together a notice to the court. And the way it's done in some places, have you looked into why Judge Janine's ex-husband needed a pardon? Nope, I don't know why. And that's the thing with pardons. You can get a pardon for anything, for any reason, at any time. You can be pardoned for things you haven't even done yet. You can be pardoned for things that you haven't been indicted for. Any number of reasons. You can basically have a pardon as a get-out-of-jail-free card, too, if you really want. So I don't know. So, their theory, I don't think is going to hold up at the end of the day. That's not what the law is meant to be. That they were, Harry Stevens says Trump's pardoned some real scumbags. Some of them kind of deserved it, but honestly, every president has some real sketchy fucking pardons. Like Bill Clinton pardoned Mark Rich. Everybody, those pardons at the end of the year, the end of the term, are always fucking, scratching a lot of people's backs. So we'll see. It's still, that said though, still Trump had the opportunity, give a pardon to Julian Assange, but didn't do it. So that's the right. But getting back to what's going to go on Michael Cohen here. This came from Trump's attorneys, and this is a letter to their judge. And this is a different way of doing things. This is not something how you would do it in Ohio. But I know I've explained to you guys, everywhere is different. Everybody has different rules. And this is something you might actually do in some federal courts. It's like we've seen some of the cases out of the Southern District of New York. This is a very common way of handling things. You kind of file like a letter. Instead of a motion, it's done in letter form. So, what they're asking for is, and what they're saying is, they've got a bunch of problems here. And part of why they had the hearing today was this letter that got filed. So it's back from March 14th, so it's last week. And they got, and this we talked about this last week, they got like 100,000 documents. And part of that was because Trump's attorneys kind of asked for them late. Or they were playing games and like, well, we thought the prosecutors had to give them to us. And once again, other than Trump's attorneys down in Georgia, Steve Sadow, a lot of his attorneys are either idiots or people who like to fuck around and play fuck games, which I don't understand how he has this luck at picking them, but he does. And it's amazing that he picked Steve Sadow down in Georgia because he more than likely, if you would have redone this, had picked some mouth-breathing idiot who doesn't know what the hell he's doing. Kind of like Elena Haba. It's like, what the hell's going on? And I know, to be fair, she's trying her best, but God, he's picked some real shitty attorneys over the years. So, They ask for an immediate adjournment, and they're asking for that continuance. And they're bringing it up because they believe that there's ongoing discovery violations. And they want the people, and the people means the state, the prosecutor, the Commonwealth. That's the people. That's what they call it, because it's the people. And the case is the people of the state of New York versus Donald J. Trump. That's how it's titled. That's the captioning in the case. So that's why they say the people. So when you guys have watched Law and Order, they're not making that up. They call it the people. So like California, it was the people of the state of California versus O.J. Simpson. In Pennsylvania, it's the Commonwealth of Pennsylvania versus so-and-so. Here in Ohio, it's the state of Ohio versus so-and-so. And the state of Ohio one's actually the more the state of blank versus that person is the more common way of doing it now. But they want the state to collect and produce all discovery with which Trump is entitled, and the court resolves factual disputes relating to the nature and scope of the discovery violations at issue in connection with the pending motion. They keep saying, though, dismissal will be appropriate. They didn't get dismissal. That hearing was today, and they didn't get a dismissal. They did point out that a 30-day continuance is not sufficient given the volume of the documents produced. That's where I said, guys, they got about the 100-some-odd thousand documents. But the court pointed out, like, you guys didn't get this done right away. It also didn't help that the prosecutors said, we looked through it and we found like only 300 of them that matter, 300 documents that matter. And a lot of them are, they said pretty much all of them are ones they've already had in one form or another. But the defense does have the right to say, no, I want to go through each one of them because I don't trust the prosecutor. The problem is they've brought this on themselves by not getting it done early enough. Therefore, they request the court schedule a hearing, and should one be necessary at a time as convenient, Your Honor, during the week of March 25th. Well, we just had that. So what did we learn? Well, long and short, the case has been postponed until April 15th, and I already mentioned that. So that's happening. The discovery violations, the judge said, LOL, not caring. It's your fault. So none of that's happening right now. The only change is April 15th. And Trump is going to have to be ready to go. Now, is that trial going to be televised? As far as I know, no. Even though it's in state court, there is no indication that it's going to be televised in a way that we would want it to be. I mean, I'm not going to lie. That would be like the absolute best thing ever, though. Imagine that, guys. Like, that would just be so cool watching. Even though that trial's going to be boring and you want to, put your head through a plate glass window, talking about finances and everything that's going on there, it would just be awful. It would just be awful. And I forgot to mention, guys, Defense Diaries podcast. It's Bob and Ali Mata. They are really good. They cover a lot of the true crime things out there, but they're defense attorneys, good defense attorneys out of the state of Illinois. If you get the chance to, they're on usually a little earlier in the evening, evening hours, but they are really good. They've also been doing a really good job at covering Richard Allen as well, and a couple other stories that are out there. And Bob's got an interesting past. His dad was involved representing John Wayne Gacy, is the way I understand it. So some kind of cool stuff out there. And so, are they gonna have to call Cherry Shivo to the stand? She's been rather unavailable for probably the better part of like 15 years now. I think almost 20 years. That's a shame. Is once again using the book I have never read, so I don't. Albus Dumbledore, isn't that the guy that like they keep changing who actually plays the role or something? So it's you're a wizard, Harry. I'm what? That's all I know. That's literally all I know from Harry Potter. Unknown Hero for $2 says, "Oh, I'm gonna come." Don't come. Don't come. Oh, you're welcome. You're welcome. Well, yeah, the original old guy died of cancer. Well, I understand, but wasn't it like they all kept dying or something? Or like every movie was a different Dumbledore? Wasn't that something people were mad about? I don't... Like I said, guys, I never read Harry Potter. I was the 13-year-old boomer. I read Tom Clancy as a kid. So I don't know any Harry Potter. You jump through the wall like the guy in the meme does in real life and hits it. Now, there are parts of this that are redacted, so we're not going to be able to read those. As the court considers this request, we note there are critical factors bearing on these issues that are omitted from the People's Notice. First, on March 12th, the People disclosed for the first time that blah, 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 we don't know. So who knows what they said. Now, there is an interesting, I forgot to mention, there is a head note or a footnote here. A 30-day adjournment would move the start of the trial from March 25th to April 24th, which would conflict with Passover, which is this year from April 22nd to April 30th. Because of that, they're saying the court can't schedule a trial in a time frame that would prevent or inhibit the ability of observant Jews to participate as jurors. And it's in New York City. There's a lot of observant Jews. Not only that, but I mean, any of the attorneys involved, if they're observant, that becomes an issue as well, because they're, to try to hold it when let's say one of the attorneys, let's say one of Trump's attorneys, and I'm not saying one of the stupid little side guys off to the side, but actually one of his lead attorneys, one of the guys getting shit done. Your Honor, I am Jewish. I observe Passover. I can't be here. I mean, the court's going to be really hard pressed to say, well, no, we're doing it anyway. Especially this case has not been going on forever. I think that there would be very reasonable grounds for the court to grant that continuance. I mean, that I've seen that happen before. I've never had a trial myself personally where opposing counsels, their religious issues or their religious beliefs caused a continuance, but I've seen it and heard it. The prosecutor is Jewish, or the defense attorney is Muslim, or something else, and there's a bit of a holy day coming up, and they're like, I can't do it, Your Honor. I'm observing my holy day that day. So that is a big thing you have to really concern. They also point out that Trump's trial in the Southern District of Florida is still set to begin May 20th. And even though he's requested the date be adjourned or continued, and the court has indicated the adjournment is appropriate, it still hasn't happened. And until it happens, even the judge says, well, I think that's a good idea. Nope, that doesn't mean continued. Until you get the thing saying it's continued in your hand, it's not continued. I've made that mistake more than once. Thankfully, it's only been twice, but you learn once, you're like, it can't happen again. You're like, wait, it does. And that's where you learn how to plan things as an attorney. Some attorneys are able to stack things up and they know it all works out in the end. It always does. Cool. I'm the guy, if I'm like, you know what? Yeah, that case, the Honor's like, Mr. Martin, can you be here on this day? And look at my calendar, and it's already saying something set for trial. And I'm like, yeah, you know what? That case, I'm like, yeah, you know what? That case is going to plea out. It's an easy one. The moment I say that, you know what happens? It doesn't plea out, and we're getting ready for trial. And I've got a week and a half out, Your Honor, this other case was already set. It's been set. We're set for trial. I need to continue. They get mad when you do that. They're understanding, but you're like, but you said it was okay. And I'm like, I thought I was going to plea out. So I try to avoid that wherever I can, because you don't want to be that guy. They go on further to state, though, the people's disclosure was required but untimely and consistent with the violations discussed in our pending discovery motion. It was only provided because we demanded it. Well, you have to demand discovery. And that was part of the issue the court brought up today on the record was, you guys didn't do a good job at demanding stuff he brought in. You kind of jerked around with the motions here. Now, I disagree with how they did that, but the court made its ruling, and I don't think it would get overturned at this point. They're also pointing out that last night, produced among other things, was I don't know. Big black bars. They're so big and meaty, and they just can't wrap their hands around it. Yeah. And they relate to more big black bars. The defense immediately expressed their concerns about the significance of that untimely production, as a forensic review and collection of discoverable data from blank should have been conducted many months ago. The people have not provided a substantive response to that letter. Rather, their notice of consent to an adjournment followed. And we already talked about that. They were opposing it. So there are a lot of issues here that do not that aren't resolved, but you see how this is going here. They point out that the state is mischaracterizing the record about how documents were sought from the U.S. Attorney's Office. And they point out, we subpoenaed the U.S. Attorney's Office, Southern District of New York, on January 18th, and it was rejected. Rather, the Southern District of New York required a TUI request seeking discretionary disclosures pursuant to federal regulations. And that's true. I've had to do these before. When I was an assistant prosecutor, we had a task force. There was a crime task force that helped out, and one of the guys who was on it out this way was an FBI agent. He was involved in quite a few, he was involved in a good number of the cases I had, just kind of the random draw of it. And anytime I needed to have him subpoenaed, so getting ready for trial, you're getting things set up, and you have your court date, and the judge's like, all right, court date set for this day. You give it like a week or so, and while you're getting it ready, you start getting your subpoenas out. It might be 3 months out, but you're getting them ready now. And then when it turns out, you get a little closer and things get kicked out, okay, you'll cancel them and reissue them again for the next date. But you do your stuff as soon as you can. You don't scramble the week of trial running around issuing subpoenas. That's dumb. That's never a good way to do it. And especially somebody like a federal agent. Because federal employees, there's a TUI request. And they have a right. You have to follow their rules and request it pursuant to that. So you have to basically ask for their permission to subpoena their guy. I mean, that's not exactly what it is, but if I'm trying to give you the kind of explain to you like your 5 explanation, you basically have to ask the government for permission to subpoena their guys. And that gets granted, and you do it in a timely manner. It's no big deal. So, and this is something that's been around forever. 1951, it's been around forever. Trump made the request after the people quashed efforts to obtain similar discoverable information from Cohen himself and his publishers beginning in November 2023. The people opposed the TUI request as well, including by relying on federal law and privileges that they had no business invoking, which that's okay, but now you're starting to sound like a little bit of a whiner, which can only be regarded as further efforts to obstruct Trump's access to discoverable information. And it should be done because it's the credibility of their star witness, Michael Cohen. And it is. Remember I said, Michael Cohen, you can look at him good, bad, or indifferent, but he's a cheese-eating rat. Narked out on everybody. So on March 4th, the U.S. Attorney's Office produced 104,000 pages of records, and they indicated that further productions will be made next week. Of the records produced to date, more than 74,000 pages were provided so the state can make decisions whether the materials were discoverable. So when they talk about it, they made 74,000 pages to the District Attorney of New York County. And New York County is Manhattan. There is no Manhattan County. There's Brooklyn County, Queens County, Yonkers County, all of that. And Staten Island is its own thing. Manhattan is known as New York County. So that's why they're known as the DANY, District Attorney in New York. So those materials have now been provided to President Trump's team. To our knowledge, Danny has produced all the materials obtained from the Southern District of New York because they're subject to the criminal something law section, criminal procedure law. They're pointing out that the state should not be heard to claim otherwise when seeking to restrict Trump's rights to appropriate time to review these new and voluminous records. Remember what they said, guys. It's 100,000 pages, but apparently the state's like there's only 300. Everything else and all this garbage is basically, already multiples of what you have. Now, I understand their side is like, we want to check it out. But the court really busted Trump's balls today and said, ultimately, I'm not going to allow you all the time in the world. I'm giving you until the 15th. So, it's go time for Trump. And I guess we'll finally get to see him go to trial. So the people claim in the notice that they diligently sought the full grand jury record related to Cohen's campaign finance convictions from the U.S. attorney last year. But the U.S. attorney declined to provide them. And that's the thing. The feds can do whatever they want. And I'm sure, J-Rock, you're out there. I'm sure, that's a shame. I know you're out there too. Yeah. On the East Coast, that stuff's not unusual. Yeah. That's kind of how they do it. But out in the Midwest, you file motions if you're bringing up issues and concerns. So what does this all mean, though? Well, the U.S. Attorney's Office, the feds will tell, even a prosecutor's office, they're like, generally they won't, because there's, like, you try to be on, they're like, look, we're on the same team, man. The U.S. Attorney's Office will still tell local, like, prosecutors, like, get the fuck out of here. Get out of my office. Go away. Go away. We're busy. We're doing real stuff. We're doing the real business of the government. We're really representing the people. They do that once in a while. Like, it turns into pissing matches. And that happens in all kinds of things. If you have a client who's in federal custody. I had a guy who's in federal custody actually now, about a year and a half ago now. And he was in custody from the marshals because he had a federal warrant he got popped on. He had probation through the feds, and he got released early on parole, and he had years left. Well, he got basically in trouble for the crime I was representing him on, and he spent months in the federal lockup in Youngstown, Ohio. That's where the feds keep everybody for the Northern District as of right now. It was almost impossible to get him out to have our trial or just to have a hearing, period. I filed motions. And then the court, I said, Your Honor, here's where he is. I know he's there. He's called me from there. His girlfriend went to the Youngstown lockup. Please, we need him out. And the court would file an order. Please, we need to have him transferred. They would demand and give it to the sheriff. Be like, you show up at the jail, say we're here to pick him up. And it was like 4.5 months before we fucking got him back. Why? Because the federal government doesn't give a shit half the time. And that's not an uncommon thing. It's generally not that big a deal, like 4.5 months of like getting frustrated, and the judge is like, I don't even know what to do anymore. He's like, I've demanded they show up. He's like, I could threaten to hold them in contempt and show cause, but I'm doubting they're going to show up to that. But finally, things worked out, and I was able to get my guy back to have him for hearings. But it happens. It's so ridiculous at times. The lights are supposed to be visible. No, don't see him. Don't see him. Feds are the biggest gang. Yeah, they are at times. Yeah, they are. So, defense tactics thing. We read them to our kids. They were long as fuck. I know. Well, I've seen them, but like read Tolkien to them. That's even better. Read like C.S. Lewis. That's some good stuff. Read your kids The Abolition of Man. If you want to kids some lot, let them read Narnia. Read Narnia to them, then read The Abolition of Man. That's some great some philosophy for children to listen to. The original Dumbledore actor singing MacArthur Park, which is about a cake. Okay. Yes, Dumbledore kept hiring professors possessed by Voldy and otherwise incompetent. Real Trump move. You keep trying to thread Harry Potter into this world that we live in. Nay pa. I'm going to have to roll up a newspaper and start hitting you guys for doing that. Bad chat. Bad. No more Harry Potter. Unless Daniel Radcliffe gets caught with like 3 ounces of coke and like running somebody over in a drunk driving accident, okay? No more. That's Cap. I just checked Noah. Invite Hella. We're almost done, actually, guys, because we're going to be, we're not got too much longer yet, though. Read them Starship Troopers. Well, that's not a bad one, too, so. Grew up on Narnia, started reading my nephew, The Magician's Nephew. Yeah, that one's a good one, too, or the Screw Tape Letters is a very good one, too, from C.S. Lewis. Or give him like Hannah Arendt, The Origins of Totalitarianism. Yes, now you made it so I have to. No, I don't. I have not done such a thing. So in Marco Polo, real quick, saying, imagine being Russia and getting Drake, Usher, Diddy, and Justin Bieber, and Chris Brown all like at once. Kind of cool. Yeah, except they're not. Yeah, the Russians at times can be really, 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 really racist, especially against like black people. So, like sometimes they can be, but overall, yeah, I think they'd be like, it's pretty cool. You know, Shaman would have probably an issue with it though. He's like their big guy now. What about covering the George Kelly Rancher trial? Yeah, I'm going to try to. I think I'll have time coming up this... Where's my phone? Huh. I don't know where my phone went. Oh, well. So... Yeah, I don't know. Yes, that would be my goal. I'd like to. I know it's a couple days in already, but yeah, I think it's interesting. I think it's a very interesting one, especially because he saw these guys run around his property with guns, and he thought they were all armed. So yeah, we'll see what happens. I think we'll be able to start getting into that. Tammy says, "What's the goal, chat? Do we have the goal tonight?" God bless the goal. No, we do not. I've got stuff to do in the morning, so we're wrapping this up pretty quick here. Okay. Other than this bare conclusory assertion, the people do not detail the steps they took to try to obtain this material from the U.S. Attorney's Office. And this is here just citations of it. This unsupported assertion of diligence is insufficient, and the U.S. Attorney should be permitted to address the extraordinarily serious claim by the people that the U.S. Attorney wrongfully withheld responsive materials on a previous occasion in response to the request. But the state came in today and it's like, no, we're all good. Everything's fine. Trump's team's lying about it. Further, it's surprising and disappointing the people waited until they got caught being derelict in their discovery obligations after fighting the TUI process at every opportunity, that they put forward their position that the SDNY declined to provide the information the people somehow knew Trump was entitled to under the CPL. Remember, though, the feds will tell you to kick rocks at a drop of a hat. It's similarly wrong, but not surprising, the people assigned blame on President Trump for the untimely disclosures when the people had many years to work with the SDNY to confirm they had collected all information. To be fair, though, the court focused on this point, that Trump and his attorneys kind of sat on their hands for years and years on end and didn't do anything about it. So, yes, they waited until January to do this, and they knew it was going to take a while. So, the court, that's why the court has only given them till the 15th, and the court is not very receptive to them at this moment. They're probably not receptive to Trump, period, but that is why they're dealing with it. In sum, the people's consent to an adjournment of the trial is a necessary step towards a just resolution of these proceedings. But the court must not permit that request to obscure the need to dismiss the indictment as a whole, which did not happen and won't happen. It's never happening. It's like fetch. It's never going to happen. It's never happening. Or at the very least for inquiry and fact-finding into the circumstances that put Your Honor and Trump in this position based on ongoing discovery violations. Accordingly, we request a hearing on the pending motion for discovery sanctions and scheduling of a trial date should one be necessary at a time that is convenient to Your Honor during the week of March 25th. Well, we had it March 25th. We had it today, and the judge said, this is your fault. I'm giving you 20 days. So, not 30, but 20. So, we'll see what happens with that for Trump's team. Ultimately, do I think that this is going to be the, death knell for them? No, not at all. So, we talking about Nick Fuentes tonight? No, we're not. Yes, Nick Fuentes is a massive glowy. So, guys, yeah, Trump had some good news today, some bad news today, but this bad news really isn't the end of the world because I think this case was the weakest of them all. And this is, I don't see how, I think this is the weakest of all the cases he had. Remember what I said? I thought the strongest of everything they had him dead to rights on is the case down in Georgia where he actually signed some documents. And they've got him on those. That's like probably the strongest thing they've got him on out of anything anywhere. But that case is turning into a dumpster fire now too. I mean, it already was, but it's 100% a dumpster fire. So, yeah, I think that we'll see what happens going forward, but I think Trump's going to be fine there. So, but yeah, guys, that's it. Yeah, we're all caught up. So I do want to say thanks to everybody here tonight. We are probably going to pack it up for the night. I know gave you guys a schedule for the rest of the week. It's going to be 8 p.m. Tuesday and Wednesday. I've reached out to somebody, some YouTubers out here in the legal world, and trying to see if we can work something out and do like a little bit of a collab or something, or pop it on with each other. So that might happen this week. It might not be this week, but it should be soon, I'd like to think. And yeah, that's really it, guys. So thank you, everybody here, everybody watching on Rumble, Twitter, Twitch, which we're still on for some reason. Don't know. We're gonna do game streaming this week. We're gonna do Helldivers, and then all you guys here on YouTube, thank you guys so much. So good night, everybody. So take care, everybody. Good night.
Even when they nab you on illegal stops, just 'cause you did it doesn't mean you're guilty. But please talk to a local attorney. Was that the fat guy that came